Manchester City odds-on favourites now to retain the title. Liverpool with that game in hand, though.
Well, those odds are just going to change every time.
Well, yes, as will the games and the points.
Sorry?
As will the games and the points.
Well, that's what I mean. So well, the points will change, but you're just going to get odds up all the time. I mean, it's like...
Well, what do you want me to get up? Well, what do you want us to do?
Why not just get 4 bookmakers on the show?
What's that got to do with anything?
They're the favourites, end of discussion. Look,
Right.
City have got to play Chelsea at the weekend.
Right, that's a...
It's not a banker. Of course it's not a banker.
No.
And then they've got a period of 2.5 weeks or thereabouts to the 27th of the month. They don't play in the league again.
Okay.
Right, we've got cup games, we've got Champions League. Liverpool have got Bournemouth at home. Now, like Leicester and who was the team that lost drop points to that? West Ham. You're thinking, right, Bournemouth.
Yep.
It's 3 points. But is it at the moment? So they've got Bournemouth and then they've got Man United in the league and then they play again on the 27th. So if they get the Bournemouth job done, the Man United game is the game in hand, I believe. That's a biggie.
Yeah.
Huge. So we're going to find out very, very soon about them.
Mark, what do you think?
Well, I think the United game, as Craig said, it's the game in hand, and that is a really big game because Liverpool hammered United at Anfield. It was the last game that Mourinho had in charge, and obviously we've seen such a transformation at Old Trafford since then. So United don't want Liverpool to win the league. They'd rather City win it, and I think United will be waiting for Liverpool that day. So it's always a big test to get Old Trafford for Liverpool, but that day it's going to be even harder. But I think the one thing that strikes me about this title race, that the two teams, that it's going to be which team handles the fatigue better, because I think they're both looking at the feeling the heat. It's only February. I mean, it's quite early to be feeling the heat. City have got 12 games left. Liverpool have got 13 left. But both, maybe it's a World Cup year that they're feeling a bit of the heat after the World Cup. But they both look leggy. And I think City have got a deeper squad, and they've got players who've been there. And I just think that gives City the edge.
You can tell how cold Mark is because he's used the word heat. that answer.
He's not feeling the heat.
Shaka, it's interesting. You talk about obviously the title charge at Newcastle and how things started to change with regards to the routine and everything. With Liverpool, is there a question as to whether or not they should change things because of the wobble?
No, absolutely. You do not change things. You've gotten this far with a certain routine, and you have to expect that wobble. City had theirs in mid-December. Liverpool maybe are going through theirs now. Every single title-winning team, regardless of who you are, where you play, have these. And who better to know that than Jurgen Klopp? We can talk about the inexperience of this Liverpool team and the fact that nobody's won titles, or hardly won any titles within the squad. Jurgen Klopp will dictate how Liverpool handles this pressure, handles this run-in. He's been there, seen there, and done it, albeit in a different league. He should know not to change anything.
But it's only human nature, though, Shaq, that if you're Liverpool and you see Manchester City lose to Newcastle, now you have it in your hands to make this a whole lot more comfortable, and you failed to do that twice in a row against two teams that you should be beating if you're going to be the champion of this league. And so therefore, you go back into the locker room and it's like, we should be ahead by a whole lot more than we are now. And now Manchester City, because they beat Everton, a team that they should beat, and they did so in a professional manner, now they're right next to us. It wasn't supposed to be like this. They weren't supposed to be here. We were supposed to be ahead. You start thinking in those terms, and you start thinking about what you didn't do and what you might have done. You lose sight of what you have in front of you, and that's perhaps where Liverpool gets in trouble.
And now that it has tightened up, like Ali said, and the pressure's really on, when you do have tight games and you don't play particularly well, although Liverpool have stacked their bench better than they had last year, you're now looking at game changers. So, if Firmino and Mane or Salah or whoever it is having a bad time, we know Shaqiri's come on and done a decent job, but then you're looking at the Lallanas of this world, and Keita coming into midfield hasn't looked the player he was in Germany. You go to the other side of the coin, for tonight example, Sterling sits out, Sané comes in. If Sané's having a problem, Mahrez might come in. De Bruyne is on the bench. He can come in when there's a problem. If any of those players, if Aguero's not playing well, Jesus comes in. So there's that ability, if players are off form in a tight game, he can rotate with more quality in that front line than Liverpool can at the moment.